Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So let's talk about something real, that feeling of being totally, completely exhausted all the time. Turns out it's not just you. There's a real science to why we're all so tired, and today we're going to dig into what's really draining your energy and, more importantly, how you can start getting it back, like right now.
All right, let me paint a picture. See if this sounds familiar. Your alarm goes off, but you feel like you just closed your eyes. You kind of drag yourself through the morning, propped up by coffee, right? But then 3 o'clock hits, and bam, it's like you hit a brick wall. All you can think about is the sweet, sweet moment you can finally crash on the sofa. That constant day in, day out drain, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
And listen, if that's you, you are far from alone. I mean, check this out. A whopping 60% of people say they feel exhausted every single day. So let's get one thing straight. This isn't some personal weakness. It's basically a modern epidemic. The big question is, what's actually happening to us?
You know, the first thing everyone says is, oh, you just need more sleep. Simple, right? But what about when you are getting 7, maybe 8 hours, and you still feel like a zombie? It's because that advice, honestly, it's missing the point. The real problem is way bigger. It's this deep mismatch between our biology, which is, ancient, and our crazy 24/7 modern world. Our bodies just can't keep up.
Okay, so let's pull back the curtain and look at the 5 hidden energy drains. These are the things that go way, way beyond just how many hours you're sleeping.
So here's a quick look at what we're diving into. We're talking about the quality of your sleep, not just the quantity. Then there's something called decision fatigue. It's a real thing. We'll also get into our cultural addiction to being busy, what's happening to our always-on brains, and how the convenient food we're eating is setting us up to fail.
All right, first up, poor sleep quality. You can be in bed for a full 8 hours, but if that sleep is shallow and broken, it's almost worthless. So what's messing it up? Well, you've got the blue light from our phones and laptops tricking our brains into thinking it's still daytime. You've got stress that has our minds running a marathon at 2 a.m., and our all-over-the-place schedules, they completely mess with our body's internal clock.
But here's the thing, it's not just about physical rest. Our mental energy is taking a beating every single day. And that brings us to hidden drain number 2, decision fatigue. Think about it. Every single choice you make, even the tiny ones, costs you a little bit of mental energy.
And the sheer scale of this is, well, it's kind of mind-blowing. Get this, researchers estimate that the average person makes about 35,000 decisions a day. Seriously, from what to wear, to what to eat, to which email to click on first, each one is like a tiny little withdrawal from your brain's energy account.
So here's a great way to think about it. Your willpower isn't some fixed character trait. It's more like a muscle. And just like any muscle, the more you use it on all those thousands of tiny little decisions, the more tired it gets. And by the end of the day, when you actually need it for something important, there's just nothing left in the tank.
Okay, drain number 3 is a big one. It's our culture's obsession with being busy. It's almost like we wear our exhaustion as a badge of honor. But the science on this, it's crystal clear. It's a terrible strategy. That thing we call multitasking, where you're constantly jumping between tasks, it doesn't make you a hero. It literally tanks your productivity by up to 40% and just pumps your system full of stress hormones.
And if you need more proof, look at this famous study from Stanford. It totally demolishes the whole hustle culture myth. What they found was that after about 50 hours of work in a week, productivity doesn't just flatten out. It falls off a cliff. It plummets. So working more hours doesn't mean you're achieving more. It just means you're making yourself more exhausted.
Now for the last 2 drains, and honestly, they feed right into each other in this awful cycle. First, you've got our always-on brains. We've basically trained them, with all the pings and notifications, to crave constant distraction. Then, because we're so drained, what do? We grab the easiest, most convenient food, which is usually full of sugar. You get that quick little high, sure, but then comes the inevitable and even worse energy crash. It's a really tough loop to break.
Okay, so we've identified the problems, the things that are draining us dry. Now for the good part, the science of how to fix it. Because here's the secret, not all fatigue is created equal. And if you can figure out which kind of tired you are, that's the absolute key to actually feeling better.
You know, this quote really hits home because it completely reframes the whole issue. Burnout is not the prize you get for working hard. It's a flashing red light. It's a signal that your whole approach to how you work and how you rest, well, it's just not working. It's a symptom that something is deeply wrong, not some trophy you should be proud of.
So, tiredness basically comes in three main flavors. First, there's the obvious one, physical fatigue. That comes from not moving enough or from bad sleep. And the fix can be surprisingly simple, like just a 10-minute walk. Then you've got mental fatigue, from all that decision overload we talked about. A great fix for that is a brain dump, just getting all your swirling thoughts down on paper. It's amazing how much that clears your head. And finally, there's emotional fatigue. This is the deep stuff, from chronic stress and burnout. And the only real way to tackle that is by learning to set and enforce firm boundaries.
All right, so how do we actually fight back against all this? I'm going to give you three simple, really simple, but super powerful ways to recharge. These are the kinds of fixes that give you huge results for very little effort.
Ready? Here we go. First, adopt the 2-minute rule. This is your secret weapon against decision fatigue. If a task pops up and it's going to take less than 2 minutes, just do it, right then. Don't even think about it. Second, the nature reset. All it takes is 20 minutes outside. It's scientifically proven to drop your stress hormone levels and give your focus a serious boost. And third, build a real night routine. The most important part, 1 hour before bed, no screens, period. This gives your brain the signal it needs to wind down and get ready for deep, truly restorative sleep.
And look, I want to be really clear about this. These aren't just cute life hacks you see on social media. These are actual science-backed strategies. The whole point is to start working with your body's natural cycles instead of constantly fighting against them. It's about stopping the struggle and finally getting in sync with your own biology.
So, I'm going to leave you with one big question to chew on. Our world has done a really good job of confusing busy with productive, but they are not the same thing, at all. Real productivity isn't about logging more hours. It's about the quality of the energy and focus you bring to those hours. So ask yourself, are you just being busy, or are you actually being productive? Are you just filling time, or are you making real progress? Ultimately, the choice and the energy is all yours.